Peace and blessings to the family. It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boston community. Shout out to the Louisiana All-American Sports Network. Major shout out to Southern University women's basketball team. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. This is the Tailgate Party, Season 1, Episode 17. Let's get it going. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. You dig? Okay, we getting ready to get this show on the road. I'm gonna give you the real quick description. Then we gonna see who we got in the building. You dig? Trying to go backstage, get a real quick sound check, and then we gonna keep it pushing. Okay, let's see who we got in the building. Man, salute to the family. Motivation to be a millionaire. You know, a little birdie told me that you was, trying to promote, trying to get the subs up on Saturday. I appreciate you to the fullest. Motivation to be a millionaire. Say salute, Coach 67. Chat, HBCU family, and Jaguar Nation. Motivation to be a millionaire. Say subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your motivation to be a millionaire. Motivation to be a millionaire. Say you are only 3 subscribers away from the 1,000 subscriber mark. Jaguar Nation, let's go. Man, I appreciate you. Motivation to be a millionaire. I also say shout out to the Lady Jags basketball team for handling business. We salute you. Oh, we definitely do. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. Motivation to be a millionaire. Motivation to be a millionaire. Say hopefully next year we win a SWAC championship like PV, even though it's unlikely. Honestly, motivation to be a millionaire. I mean, in a perfect world, that's what would happen, but it's extremely highly unlikely to be truthful. But hopefully Coach Falk could get the car back on the road, you know what I'm saying? And more motivation to be a millionaire, put go Jags. Yes, sir. The family relaxing calm ran in the building. Salute to you. He said, salute, Coach 67. Chat, HBCU family, and Jaguar Nation. Salute. Relaxing calm ran said, we need 10 people to subscribe to this channel as soon as possible. Yes, sir. Relaxing calm ran said, Coach, you are the voice of Jaguar Nation. I appreciate you for that. Relaxing calm ran said, the Lady Jags basketball team has been handling business. Yeah, we're going to talk about that later on. Definitely handling business. You know, big wins against Arizona and Houston. You know, major shout out to them. Relaxing calm rain say everyone get 2 friends to come and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Man, I appreciate you, Relaxing calm rain. Relaxing calm rain say 10 people come and subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir. Relaxing calm rain say hopefully Southern and Marshall Falk has a plan because time is ticking away. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that also. Relaxing calm rain say hopefully you talk about the Lady Jags. I will. The SWAC championship game. I will. And hiring Marshall Falk more than this forgettable season. Now I gotta talk about this forgettable season. Yeah, it is a forgettable season, but nevertheless, I still gotta talk about it. Relaxing calm rain say like, share, and subscribe. Yes, sir. Relaxing calm rain put let's go, and then he put go Jags, and then he came back, double back, and said James Cruz is getting fired by FAMU too. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about that. Salute to the family of Blackwater Bayou. He said, salute, coach, in chat. Man, salute to your fam. Kendrick Wicker, 8828. Say the mini dome, go be packed when SWAC play start. I don't know. I got I got some basketball clips on this channel too. always talk about how rocking AW was in the 90s. That wasn't just in football. That was in basketball too. And if you look at some of these basketball clips I got on my channel, AW is not as full as it once was, but the Phil G. Clark Activity Center is nowhere near as full as it was. I'm not gonna lie, you got more fans at AW with the last game had 24,000 people, 23,000, something like that, 23, 24,000. Man, they don't hardly have nobody in the mini dome. The Phil G. Clark Activity Center looks real dry. So hopefully, if the men and the women get on the roll and they just go ham, but still, I don't still think it's like it was back in the Gap. That's just my personal opinion. Your boy Jay say, salute, coach. It's too quiet around the football program. Ready to see who is on the staff. Yeah, me and you both. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I'm not gonna even lie to you. Like, this morning, my brother Jay Good sent me something. Salute to him. HBCU Premier Sports said that a Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. Let me scratch that. That a two-time Super Bowl winning coach was interested in joining Southern University's football staff under Marshall Faulk. And then when I went to look for the post that he sent me, it was gone. So, I mean, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But let's kick off the show talking about the SWAC championship game. I'm not even gonna lie, like, I thought it was gonna be a good game. Just like the Bayou Classic, I thought the Bayou Classic was gonna be close. And I thought Grambling was gonna win by 1 point. I picked Grambling, but Southern won by 1 point. I thought the SWAC championship game was gonna be close. I picked JSU to win a close game. And Prairie View won a close game. So, congratulations to Coach Tremaine Jackson and Prairie View. I guess he did live up to all the hype. I mean, I know he was a good coach, but for people to say he was going to be the best coach in the SWAC his first year, I'm like, nah, I don't see it. And guess what? They were right. So I'm not going to lie. I think if he could go to Atlanta and win a Celebration Bowl, I think teams going to definitely come knocking at his door. So the crazy thing about it is, I was thinking, yeah, he might be at PV for a couple of years, but I think if they win Saturday, I'm going to be honest, it might be one and done for him. You know what I'm saying? Your boy JC, I was completely shocked. I didn't expect that at all. It's always fun seeing Jackson State lose. I'm not going to lie. You share the sentiments of a lot of Jaguar Nation. Me, I really could care less. Southern wasn't playing, so I really didn't have a dog in the fight. But a lot of members of Jaguar Nation were, was a little giddy that Jackson State lost. Me, not so much. I just was happy that it was a good SWAC championship game. Let's get into the stats real quick. For PV, since PV won, let's look at their stats first. Cameron Peters had 28 attempts, 17 completions, 294 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Man, you don't see quarterbacks put up those kind of numbers too often against Jackson State defense. From a rushing standpoint, Cameron Peters had 24 carries for 100 yards, 1 touchdown, and a long at 19. Chase Bingham had 11 carries for 23 yards. Shadrick Bird had 4 carries for 22 yards. Shadrick Bird also had 1 pass attempt that was incomplete. Lamega McDowell had 5 carries for 6 yards. Andre Dennis had 1 carry for 2 yards. And Cameron Bonner, that must have been him that ran in reverse, had 1 carry for -6 yards. Receiving, Josiah Rockwell had 4 receptions for 96 yards. Ethan John had 1 reception for 66 yards. Cameron Bonner had 1 reception for 40 yards. Andre Dennis had 2 receptions for 39 yards. Jacoby Banks had 2 receptions for 12 yards. Trayvon Jones had 3 receptions for 12 yards. Shadrick Bird had 1 reception for 11 yards. Chase Bingman had 1 reception for 11 yards. Yeah. Defensively, they didn't put the tackles. Prairie View defensive backs, Darrell Sterling had 1 interception for 5 yards. Kick returns and not so, don't need to get really getting to that because ain't nobody house nothing, so ain't really no use in dwelling that. Before I get to the JSU, Kendrick Wicker 8828 say, why are people shocked that JSU lost? That did not good. What's shocking is Ahmad Miller into the portal today. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that too. I am definitely going to talk about that. On the JSU side of things, Jacoby Morgan had 2 completions for 6 attempts for 2 completions, 4 yards. Jared Lockhart had 9 attempts with 6 completions, 156 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Travis Terrell Jr. had 9 carries for 34 yards. Jacoby Morgan had 2 carries for 28 yards, 1 touchdown. Ahmad Miller had 13 carries for 27 yards, 1 touchdown. Kobe Paul, 1 carry for 2 yards. Jared Lockhart had 2 carries for -7 yards. I'm assuming they count sacks. Nate Rembert had 4 receptions for 80 yards. Longer 52. Shamar Savage had 1 reception for 41 yards. Longer 41. Janelle and Dupree had 2 receptions for 37 yards, 1 touchdown. And that was it. Of course, Shamar Hawkins, not so much for that. They didn't put BJ Washington had an interception for Jackson State. And that pretty much was it, you know what I'm saying? So, that was that. Your boy Jay said actually a few of Jackson State players hit the portal that Dion Height is gone. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I only saw Ahmad Miller. I didn't see like the rest of the GSU players that hit the portal. But truthfully speaking, whatever I don't touch on tonight on the tailgate party, we gonna touch on Thursday on HBCU Fanatics on my brother channel, Jared 11 Green. Definitely be certain to come over Thursday, 7:30, typically around 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday on my brother channel on HBCU Fanatics on Jared 11 Green channel. Desmond Allen said, I agree, bro. I could care less. Bo Jackson and PV will never catch up to the Southern program. Salute to EA. He said, we have officially started the Rattler Resurrection. Let's go. Yeah, hey, I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, EA. Salute to you. Let's get to the game itself. I'm not gonna lie, we gonna break it all the way down on HBCU Fanatics. But truthfully speaking, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I wasn't shocked that Jackson State lost. In all actuality, just to be honest, instead of being now 16-7 at half, it really should have been 28-7. At minimum, it should have been 16-7. But the thing that got me was, PV was up 7-0, like right at midfield, a little bit on the plus side of the field. And then with the play calling, they really wanted to get cute and run the reverse. To me, that was like a bad call. Like really, that really hadn't been PV. PV kind of just been straight up and down, basic, no special effects. Just fundamentally sound football, good solid defense, good running game, passing game and complimented. The reverse, I felt like it was getting too cute. And not only that, but selling for them field goals. So, really Jackson State was lucky they weren't down by more than that, to be truthful. But the thing that really, I said the key to winning the game was going to be, who could stop who's running game. But I'm not going to lie, I was surprised that Prairie View was winning the battle up front on both sides of the ball. That's the thing I felt like was the real head turner. And I felt like that's the thing that really tipped the scales in Prairie View's favor. But I'm not going to lie, at certain points, I kind of felt like instead of capitalizing and scoring touchdowns, it was kicking field goals. And they just certain points, they just wasn't capitalizing on the opportunities they had in front of them. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking to myself, man, y'all let GSU hang around, like that's not good. And GSU took the lead, but I'm not gonna lie, but at the end, I'm not gonna lie, PV righted the ship. And I'm not gonna lie, like it was a good game. More than anything, that's the thing I wanted. Southern won in the SWAC championship game, so I really didn't have a dog in the fight. Like both of them SWAC teams, so it's not like, hey, like the Celebration Bowl where I'm clearly gonna be rooting for PV to win. But at the end of the day, more than anything, I just wanted a good game. And I'm not gonna lie, at a point I thought PV was gonna blow it, but they was able to do enough to get the dub. Man, salute to Terry Gadd. He said, "Go Jags, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to your family. Salute." Your boy Jay said, "This is proof Jackson just out talented teams. They act like the bully who finally got punched in the face and they ran away. Grambling did it. Now PV did. And Alabama State was one play away." Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. It would have been interesting because I know that the popular thing is because salute to the Louisiana All-American Sports Network. When Southern Lab played against Madison Prep at A.W. Mumford State and P. Richardson Field, the thing that aggravated me was the fact that both teams kept running to the short side of the field. Like they kept running that option to the short side of the field. And I'm like, man, when I played football at Assumption, we want to run to the wide side of the field unless we was just running right up the gut, like an ISO lead right up the gut. But a lot of these spread teams nowadays, they like to run it to the short side of the field. To me, it would have been interesting if Andrew Body and them in Alabama State would have ran that play to the wide side of the field. I'm not saying they would have scored, but I think it would have gave them a better chance, a better shot, and a better opportunity to score as opposed to just running that to the short side of the field. To me, that made no sense. And you're right, Alabama State was one play away. I'm not going to lie. I kind of felt like Prairie View just flat out beat Jackson State, no two ways about it. Whereas when it came to Grambling, I'm not just saying that because I view Grambling as Southern's biggest rival and the fact that they in-state. It kind of felt like I felt like Grambling got lucky, whereas I feel like Prairie View just flat out beat them. Now, I'm not trying to diminish Grambling's win against Jackson State. I'm just saying that was my feeling. And, it'll be interesting to see how Jackson State fans feel about the Grambling win as opposed to the Prairie View win. But, congratulations to Coach Tremaine Jackson and Prairie View. They was able to, pull it off. And, congrats to them. But before I get into the to the James Cozy talk and all the other, stuff around the SWAC, because I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Once we get to talking about football on this channel, like, stuff go left. So let me give props and shout out to Southern University Lady Jaguars. Man, the Lady Jags last year, they won the SWAC regular season championship. They won the tournament championship. And they went to the NCAA tournament. They made it to the field of 64. And then after that, they played well against UCLA. So clearly, Coach Carlos Funches, salute to him. Really salute to men's coach Kevin Johnson and women's coach Carlos Funches. Salute to the both of them. Both of them were SWAC coaches of the year. you know, the Southern University Lady Jaguars, they kept that momentum from last season rolling into this season. And man, I'm not gonna lie, they just doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? So for those individuals that are unaware, the Southern University Lady Jaguars, they beat both Arizona. They beat Arizona 63-57. Big win. Them beating Arizona 63-57. And then they turn around and beat Houston 70-62. So a big win against Arizona, Lady Wildcats, 63-57. And big win against University of Houston Lady Cougars, 70-62. So major shout out to the Lady Jags for going out there doing anything and handling business. Let me get right back to the chat before we go all the way up. Desmond Allen said, we going to win it again, both men's and women's. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. But this time, the men got to finish the deal. The men won the regular season championship, but the men couldn't finish off the SWAC tournament championship. They got to finish the deal. They got to do like the ladies did last year. They got to win the regular season championship. They got to win the tournament championship. They got to make it to the field of 64, and they got to have an impressive showing in the tournament. But the Lady Jaguars, they gave you the whole ball of wax. You know what I'm saying? They won the regular season championship. Then they won a tournament championship. Then they made it to the field of 64. And in my personal opinion, they had an impressive showing against the UCLA Lady Bruins. So shout out to Coach Carlos Funches and the Lady Jags. Now let's move on to some more SWAC football talk. Of course, I talked about it multiple times on this channel. And it was speculation. It was rumor. It was innuendo. The brother EA was like, hey, coach, it's just rumors. But it's official at this point. FAMU has officially parted ways with head football coach James Cozy. And, it's not shocking. The state that head coach Willie Simmons left the program in, and shout out to Willie Simmons, he's doing this thing over there at FIU. They're going to play in the bowl against UTSA. So shout out to Willie Simmons. But Willie Simmons left the program in a good spot. And I'm not going to lie, James Cozy didn't do it what T.C. Taylor did when Deion Sanders left. So, unfortunate for James Cozy. FAMU parted ways with him. And truthfully speaking, I'm not going to lie, I know they're going to have a lot of people that's going to be interested in that FAMU job, just like the Southern job, just like the Grambling job. I think it's a good job if you're a college coach. And truthfully speaking, I know a bunch of people is going to be interested in the job, but in my personal opinion, there's only two real top candidates. If I'm FAMU, the number one candidate on my list would be Quinn Gray. And you saw what Tremaine Jackson did for PV. If Quinn Gray could bring a lot of the players he has on his team currently, bring them to FAMU with him, and bring a good portion of his coaching staff with him, I'm not gonna lie, FAMU would be. I'm not gonna say they would win the SWAC East, but I think they'll be better off than what they currently are, in my humble opinion. And not only that, but we saw how multiple teams in the SWAC left a lot to be desired. Not only did multiple teams leave a lot to be desired, but multiple coaches in the SWAC this year left a lot to be desired. I think if you bring Quinn Gray in, from a coaching standpoint in terms of pedigree, I think you could put him right up there with Tremaine Jackson and T.C. Taylor and Eddie Robinson is amongst the top coaches in the SWAC, in my personal opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but you saw with Tremaine Jackson, what he was able to do his first year at Prairie View. Now, one other thing I will point out, some people like, hey, it's the first time a coach came in his first year in the SWAC, won the SWAC championship. Stop. That's cap. That is a flat out lie. P. Richardson, first year at Southern, he won the SWAC championship. Now, don't get me wrong. It was a senior heavy team. He had a lot of talent. A lot of those players that Marino Chasm and Gerald Kimball brought in, prayers up for Gerald Kimball, because from what I'm understanding, I think he's still in the hospital in Shreveport. Hopefully he's better. Hopefully he's doing well. If somebody put it in the comment section during the live stream, or put it in the chat right now during the live stream, or put it in the comment section after the stream ends. But, prayers up for former Southern University head coach Gerald Kimball. But, hopefully he's out the hospital. Hopefully he's better. Hopefully he's doing well. But either way, P. Richardson, his first year in the SWAC, he won the SWAC championship. Now, I was upset that the one game he lost to Nickel State. So he didn't sleep at all that night. But either way, his first year in the SWAC, he won the SWAC championship. Now, there was no Heritage Bowl, the Celebration Bowl. At that time, there was no SWAC East and West because they didn't have as many teams as they have in the SWAC now. But his first year in the SWAC, he did win the SWAC championship. So for those individuals that saying, hey, Tremaine Jackson, first year in the SWAC, he won the SWAC championship, first time a coach done that. No, that's not true. P. Richardson did the same thing in 93. Your boy Jay say basketball is carrying Southern right now. Football is on its way back. Yeah, I hope so. Blackwater Bayou say, I agree. The Lady Jags holding it down. Go Lady Jags. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your boy Jay say, whoever they hiring is losing to Coach Falk anyway. LOL. I'm not going to lie, though, but that's the thing about it. Quinn Gray is a good coach. I mean, he played at FAMU. He a heck of a coach. If I'm FAMU, it's easy money. The top two coaches will be Quinn Gray and Teddy Bridgewater. 1 and 2, that's it. Now, I don't know if they were to offer Teddy Bridgewater a job, if he would retire from the NFL, or if he could get a couple more years out of the Tampa Bay Bucks, he would stay in the NFL. But either way, I think Teddy Bridgewater, whenever he does, start his college coaching journey, I think he has a bright future ahead of him also. Your boy Jay say, but in all seriousness, the SWAC needs this. The days of Dooley and Graves and all these bad coaches are over. I hope so. Derek Banks, 5630. He said hello from Kansas City, Missouri. Man, salute to you, Derek Banks. We appreciate you for coming through and showing some love. You know what I'm saying? Desmond Allen said, Southern's women's basketball winning without their best player, Gardine. Yeah. Telton Leathers, salute to your fam. He said Pete won the Heritage Bowl in 93, 11-0 South Carolina State. Yeah, but of course, Telton Leathers, the unfortunate thing was the fact that they lost to Nickel State, bro. Like, how, bro? Nickel State was trash that year. Man, how you lose to Nickel State, man? That's the thing that just pissed me off. He said, I wonder how Coach Richardson feels, like how he feels about the hire. Does he like the hire? He said, I don't think he was at the press conference. No, he wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see Coach Richardson at the press conference. I really didn't. I didn't see him at the press conference. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how he feels about the hire. A lot of those old school cats, like Coach Richardson. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to speak for him. Don't say I'm speaking for him. I'm not trying to speak for him. But a lot of old school cats that had to actually go through the grind back in the gap and actually move their way up the ladder and earn stripes, they're really not high on these like celebrity coaches. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying, he liked the hire, he don't like the hire, whatever. But a lot of them old school cats, like Coach Richardson, they're not high on these celebrity coaches and these celebrity hires. So I'm 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 not saying he feels the same way, but But in terms of any word on the coaching staff, uh, like I said earlier, the last I heard was first they were saying in terms of Marshall Falk hiring the defensive coordinator first. Basically, they were saying that it was down to Ryan Lewis Sr. from that used to coach for Alabama State and Jason Rollins. I made it clear I prefer Ryan Lewis over Jason Rollins. I mean, Jason Rollins didn't light the world on fire when he was the interim head coach at Southern. Now, HBCU, Premier Sports, and more, they posted a post, I think, last night, basically saying a coach that had won 2 Super Bowl championships was interested in coming to Southern and being Marshall Falk's defensive coordinator. Since then, they have deleted that post. So maybe they can confirm or deny that or whatever, but I mean, it is what it is. Desmond Allen say Oldham's won his first full year too. Yeah. Big facts. Tailgate Leather said yes, they did. And then 95, they beat Nicholls State and lost to GSU. Like, bro. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I was at the vet that night, Tailgate Leathers. I was at the vet. And Eric Rounder, those 2 games against Nicholls State and Jackson State were like his 2 worst games. His worst game that 93 season and his worst game that 95 season. Sam George came in and relieved him. And I'm like, bro, like he played bad in both of those games. And then the irony is I have a cousin that went to Jackson State. And oh man, it was ripped out so hard the fact that they beat Southern that year. You know what I'm saying? And then after Eric Randall retired, I mean not retired. Let me say retire. They're going to show you something about NFL. But after he graduated, Marcus Jacoby ended up being the starting quarterback. And I'm like, bro, to me, Sam George and Lionel Hayes were both better than Marcus Jacoby. May he rest in peace, but it is what it is. Tails and Leather say, I was in TJ Ribs today, and Coach Falk was there sitting at the bar, a couple chairs from me. I just did a little head nod upward, like, what up? And he went on about my business. And he went on about my business. Yeah. Your boy Jay said, I'm interested on knowing who these 2 elite quarterbacks are. I'm hearing good things, just aren't seeing them yet. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. These 2 elite level quarterbacks that's supposed to come to Southern like sooner rather than later, from what I'm hearing. Man, I've been hearing a lot about these 2 elite level quarterbacks. And I'm not gonna lie, the issue I got with him hiring Marshall Falk is I like the fact that it's bringing a lot of attention to Southern, and the fan base is kind of breathes new life in the Jaguar Nation. But the issue I have is, hearing some like ridiculous stuff. Like one person sent me a message on social media behind the scenes. They was like, man, coach, I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if Southern win a SWAC championship next year. Because from what I'm hearing, like a bunch of dogs supposed to be coming to Southern. And not only that, but they're gonna have a team that's gonna be good enough to beat every other HBCU team by at least 3 touchdowns. And I'm like, bro, do y'all realize that this team that Southern had this year is a historically bad team? Don't get me wrong. I know Zay Franks, Traylon James, and Darren Morris is into the transfer portal. But the vast majority of this team that Southern had this year, that I thought preseason was going to win the SWAC championship, or at least win the minimum SWAC West, they ended up being historically bad. And the vast majority of this current roster is going to be back next year. So, I like the optimism and that Jaguar Nation is moving in a positive direction. But to think that Marshall Faulk, year one, is going to be able to do the same thing that Pete Richardson did, or that Dawson Odom did his first full year at Southern, the same thing that Tremaine Jackson did this year, it might be asking a little bit too much. We have to have, like, expectation that he's going to turn things around, but for that expectation is that he's going to be able to turn everything around in one season. That might be a little bit unrealistic, because just to keep it a buck, the vast majority of this current roster is going to be back next year. So that might be asking too much, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, your boy Jay, you bring up a very, very, very interesting point. It's going to be interesting to see who these two elite level quarterbacks are and how they pan out, because, you know, certain people that was so high on Cameron McCoy this season, coming into the season, you know, they was high on him, and guess what? And things went left quickly, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, it is what it is. Man, salute to my brother Jared Lovin Green. Be certain to come through on Thursday to my brother Jared Lovin Green channel for the next installment of HBCU Fanatics. Be certain Thursday around 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to come through and check us out. We're going to talk about the SWAC championship game. We're going to talk about James Cozy. Oh, and one other thing too. I'm going to talk about that next. Yeah, but salute to my brother Jared Lovin Green. Your boy JC, I have heard his connections are insane, and he knows some elite players, but it's going to take a lot to rebuild a 2-10 team. 50% of this team isn't even D1 level talent. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, and that's the same thing my brother Jay Good was saying. Salute to the brother Jay Good. He was saying, like, some of these players, you know, it's not even D-level 1 talent. You know, just kind of give you an example. You know, he was saying at the quarterback position, he was like, man, like, your two quarterbacks and Cameron McCoy and Ashton Strider, like, they'll probably be better served if they went down to the Division II. So he was saying that, you know, especially at the quarterback position, like, you don't even have D-level 1 talent, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to take him time and at least a couple seasons to be able to turn this thing around. He was like, you know, Tremaine Jackson, when he came into PV, he didn't have a historically bad team. Deion Sanders didn't have a historically bad Jackson State team. So at the end of the day, it's going to take some time to turn this thing around. You know what I'm saying? Derek Banks said, did Southern sign some kid early? Now from what I heard, Derek Banks, I could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything. You know what I'm saying? Desmond Allen said, yep, I agree, bro. He said, we need to just go above 500 next season. Yeah. I mean, to me, I think realistic expectations is to move from 2 wins to about 7 wins. I think if you can move to a 7-win team, I think he's done well. I mean, if he can do the same thing that Deshaun Jackson did with Delaware State, I think that's a win. You know what I'm saying? Blackwater Bayou, he said, yeah. He said, I have a wait and see viewpoint, but it's still go Jags. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm 100% in agreement with your Blackwater Bayou. That's why when a person was saying, hey, like, Southern gonna be good enough next season to beat every HBCU team by 3 touchdowns, I'm like, man, pump your brakes, man. It's, you know, that's jump out the window expectations. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, man, we sound like, you know, as a collective, we sound like Dallas Cowboy fans. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I'm in 100% agreement with Blackwater Bayou. You know what I'm saying? Desmond Allen said short-term goals. Big facts, Desmond Allen. Big facts, my brother Desmond Allen. He, you know, he has realistic point of view. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Jay said Southern has a bunch of commits already. Some really good players. They just haven't posted anything yet. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I think it's to the point now. Your boy Jay, I think some people are getting a little bit antsy from the perspective and standpoint of, yeah, they want some movement. You know what I'm saying? They definitely want some movement. Your boy Jay said, listening to Grays and Fredericks hype up this team in June and July this year made me sick. LOL. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even myself, I kind of bought into a lot of the hype and the bull crap. I thought this team was gonna win the West. Man, this team ended up being a two-win team. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It goes to show you that Terrence Graves really wasn't out on a recruiting trail. He sat behind his computer and looked at a lot of huddle footage, and that's how he determined the players he was gonna bring in. You know what I'm saying? Derek Banks said Southern needs to beat FAMU, JSU, PV, and GSU. Woo! I'm not gonna lie, that might be a lot to ask. I'll probably say year one under Marshall Faulk in the year one in the Marshall Faulk era. I think realistic expectations might be beat Grambling, beat Prairie View. No. Scratch that. Year one, realistic expectation might be beat FAMU, beat Grambling. Jackson State and Prairie View, I think you got to work your way up to that. So Derek Banks, I think, really realistic expectations. Year one for Marshall Faulk is beat FAMU, beat Grambling. You're going to have to work your way up to JSU and PV. Your boy Jay said, I never forget. Carlos Brown asked him, was he recruiting that man? Graves said he was resting. I should have known then. So let me reread that. Your boy Jay said, I never forget. Carlos Brown asked him, was he recruiting? He said, that man, Terrence Graves said he was resting. I should have known then. Hey, I mean, that tell you everything you need to know. That's how the season went. Desmond Allen said, just win the games that count for me. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think if you just start moving in the right direction, if you can move from 2 wins to 7 wins, to me, I think that's a huge jump. So I think you got to take it year by year, step by step, brick by brick. Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't expect Jaguar Nation to get back to where it was overnight. Kendrick Wicker said, what Graves' position on campus is now? I think there might be to tell you in the chat. From what I'm understanding, it's some kind of behind the scenes position, and then I think in January you're supposed to move to something crazy like the ticket office or something, where you're gonna be getting like $75K, and they're gonna give him the rest of the $250K they owe him first, and then he's gonna get $75K for 2026, and he's supposed to be in the ticket office or something crazy. Man, salute to my brother Jay Good. He got the peace emoji salute. Man, salute to Jay Good. Next topic, let's get to Ahmad Miller. I was shocked when Jay Good sent us that Ahmad Miller has hit the transfer portal. He got Dear Jackson State family, and I'm gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it in depth, in detail, Thursday on my brother Jared Loving Green channel for the next edition of HBCU Fanatics. But yeah, he gave his little spiel, and I'm like, dang, I was shocked to see that he hit the portal. But like Jay Good was saying, like a lot of those guys for Jackson State that already won the SWAC championship, they're probably gonna just go to the highest bidder in terms of the PWI that gives them the biggest NIL bag. That's what they probably looking to do. So, to keep it a buck, I prefer they stay in the SWAC at Jackson State. Hell, if you want, come to Southern. But even with that being said, like I prefer if they stay in the SWAC. But at the end of the day, I can't be mad at Ahmad Miller or other Jackson State players that wants to fully capitalize and get the most they could get in terms of, from a monetary standpoint and an opportunity standpoint. So I can't be mad at him. So I wish Ahmad Miller the best, even though he's leaving a SWAC rival. I still wish him the best. Your boy Jay said, whatever his position is, he better stay away from Falk. Yeah. Your boy Jay said these kids just want money. That's all it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why I was disappointed that Southern did so bad this year, but that's why I was so impressed by Kelby Givens. Because, man, I'm almost certain Kelby Givens could have hit the portal and he could have got a bag to go to a Power 5, Power 4 PWI, or even just a bigger PWI than Southern, and got a bag. That's why I tip my cap off to Kelby Givens and salute to him. And even from when I heard they say Kelby Givens has another year eligibility left, I don't know how. I don't see it, but if he does have another year eligibility left, I would love for him to come back to Southern for one more year and kind of help, Marshall Faulk kick things off. You know what I'm saying? And from when I heard they say Andrew Body has another year eligibility left too, I don't know how accurate that is because I think Andrew Body would have been at what? I think he'd have been at Alabama State like 3 seasons and been at Texas Southern 3 seasons. So I don't know how he would have another year eligibility left, maybe due to a medical red shirt. But at the end of the day, whatever SWAC players hit the portal, I hope they find a soft spot to land and that, hopping in the transfer portal, hopefully somebody advising them and moving them in the right direction, But I wish them all well. Darren Morris, Zay Franks, and Traylon James from Southern, Ahmad Miller from Jackson State, and any other SWAC players that's decided they're going to hit the transfer portal. Your boy Jay said, I thought Darren Morris was a senior. I was shocked. He had 1 year left. Yeah, he's a red shirt junior, your boy Jay. So he wasn't a senior. He was he a red shirt junior. So, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands because, even I remember Kobe Dillon hit the portal. Kobe Dillon hit the portal, and guess what? Kobe Dillon ended up at what? In Cornet Word? And we already know Kendrick Grimes ended up at Tennessee State. Hopefully when I get everything the way I wanted, hopefully I could get Kendrick Grimes on the platform. I was a huge supporter of his. Shout out to Kendrick Grimes. But on to the last topic, which was this abysmal season that we just went through. Derek Banksy, I like to see what type of offers he has. Yeah, me too. Blackwater Bayou said, how many seniors we losing on defense? That's the crazy thing about it, Blackwater Bayou. Southern had like 17 seniors total. We know Zach Yassine was a senior, Kelby Givens, Horatio Johnson, Vince Page / Vince Sullivan. Vince Sullivan was a senior. I think Mike Jones Jr., if I'm not mistaken, he was a senior. So Southern had a lot of seniors, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick Wicker said, I hope it's everybody. LOL. Kendrick Wicker, you crazy. But I'm not gonna lie though, but Southern did have a senior heavy team. That's why I was so shocked that it was just so bad this year, you know what I'm saying? But, episode by episode, I actually broke down Southern's loss. So I'm not gonna go in depth in details. I'm just gonna go game by game. Week 0, Southern lost 31-14 to North Carolina Central an abysmal performance. Then Southern had a life and death struggle to beat Mississippi Valley. And at that point, I'm like, all right, hey, maybe they could turn things around. It didn't happen because for the P. Richardson Classic, Southern lost 30-7 to Alabama State. And I'm like, all right, hey, let's see what they do against Fresno State. Fresno State beat them 56-7. But Ashton Strada kind of gave me hope. I'm like, all right, man, I think this dude, he might be what we missing at quarterback. It wasn't, because for the Boombox Classic, Jackson State beat Southern 38-13. And that's when the wheels started to really fall off. Then you go down to Daytona, and you get the brakes blown off you by Bethune-Cookman 45-14. The first ever loss Southern University had to Bethune-Cookman. Then Prairie View came to AW and beat Southern 24-3. Then after that, Southern lost to FAMU in a game that they really should have won. They lost 43-35. Then after that, you went on the road and you had an abysmal performance against Pine Bluff, 40-21. Then after that, in a game in which it seems as if the coaching staff just kind of milled it in, Southern went to Lorman. The players left it all out on the field. They gave their all. They gave their absolute best effort. And they lost 35-17 against Alcorn State in Lawrence, Mississippi. Then, for senior afternoon at A.W. Mother Stadium, Peterson Field, Southern blew a 10-point second half lead, and they lost 35-30 to Texas Southern. And then in a season finale, Southern pulled an upset, and they beat Grambling 28-27 in the 52nd annual Bayou Classic. That pretty much was the season. And then thereafter, Southern officially announced that Marshall Falk is going to be his 22nd head coach. They had a good little press conference. It was a lot of fanfare, so on and so forth. So, it is what it is. And Jay Good sent me that former Albany State quarterback Isaiah Knowles, former Albany State quarterback, has entered the transfer portal. 1 year eligibility left. And Isaiah Knowles has posted he is blessed to receive an offer from Jackson State. Wow. So Isaiah Knowles hit the portal. Jackson State wasted no time, and they offered Isaiah Knowles, former Albany State quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see if he goes to JSU. Derek Banks say, I like to see what type of offense Southern is going to run. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That's one thing about, having a first-year head coach. It's going to be interesting to see what Southern's identity is going to be really in all three phases of the game in terms of offense, what kind of offense they're going to run. A lot of people think they're going to run, that greatest show on turf offense that Mike Martz ran. We'll see. Your boy Jay said that North Carolina Central game on ABC was so embarrassing, seeing our coaches look shook like that. He said Engraves line mid-game didn't help either. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Him talking about, hey, we're gonna make them adjustments and this, that, and the third, and with the woo, just to turn around and make no real adjustments. Kendrick Wicker said they didn't have a coach who could develop players. Oh, no, definitely. Not at all. Not at all. I agree. Your boy Jay said, I'll never forget they asked Graves, will he bring his DBs closer to cover? And he said, yes, he will, and nothing changed. Dude was a terrible head coach. Kendrick Wicker said, Graves didn't make no adjustments. We was playing the same up until he got fired. Your boy J225 said, even when the OC got demoted, nothing changed. And that's the crazy thing about it. I'm not even gonna lie. Shout out to Adrian Cook. Adrian Cook said, man, hey, I don't care what Graves say. He said, man, Mark Frederick running that same old lame ass offense. And we was like, what he said? He was like, man, I'm telling y'all. And come to find out, that was the reason why Roman Banks fired him. Because come to find out, the whole time, he had never fired Mark Frederick or relieved him of his play calling duties. He said he made Fred McNair the co-offensive coordinator and the play caller, and Mark Frederick was calling the same plays. I'm like, man, this dude was lying through his teeth the whole time, bro. Your boy Jay said, I guess Lockhart isn't the guy they claim he is. Well, I mean, the thing about it, your boy Jay, I mean, Jared Lockhart is a true freshman. So, I mean, you know, Jay Good said, LOL, that's Quinn Gray, quarterback, FAMU. Y'all got to do something, baby. Man, I'm going to keep it a buck, Jay Good. I think if FAMU don't hire Quinn Gray, the only other coach they should consider hiring is Teddy Bridgewater. So Teddy Bridgewater should be the number 2 option. Quinn Gray should be the number 1 option. Yeah. And, we talked about him hitting the portal. Man, to keep it a buck, Isaiah Knowles should be going to FAMU, if you ask me. And Quinn Gray should be taking most of his coaching staff and a good bit of his players with him to FAMU, but that's another story. Man, salute to my brother. I am Trill Will. Salute to your family. Man, y'all go over. If y'all like politics, go over to my brother I am Trill Will channel. Check him out. Hey, he be having some dope conversations from a political standpoint over there on this channel. Salute to my brother I am Trill Will. Your boy Jay said, I think 100%. He said, I 100% think Graves wasn't going to get Fred till after the Classic, but they found out he was lying, and he always does, and they fired him early. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought he was gonna make it through the rest of the season, but the way you lost for homecoming, was embarrassing. And then on top of that, all the lying he did, yeah, that was it for him. You know what I'm saying? Jay Good said, fam, you getting Gray and Knowles. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Jay Good. I already see it in the making. I think if you going any other direction, shame on you, in my personal opinion. Jay Good said, Trilly Willie. Desmond Allen said, Knowles has an offer from FAMU. Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Knowles gonna end up wherever Quinn Gray ends up. And like Jay Good was saying, that's his guy. So at the end of the day, I think wherever Quinn Gray ends up, that's where Isaiah Knowles is gonna end up. And I'm gonna be honest with you. That SWAC East, if FAMU hires Quinn Gray, man, hey, I think you're looking at a completely different side of the SWAC. You know what I'm saying? My brother Jared Levin Green said, Trill Will, what up? So for this episode of the Tailgate Party, I touched on a variety of different topics. I touched on the SWAC championship game. I touched on not only the SWAC championship game, but I talked about the season in review. I talked about FAMU getting rid of James Colsey. I talked about the Southern University Lady Jags handling BI. And, it's just going to be interesting to see how this Marshall Faulk era kind of shapes up. Of course, I only have probably but a few more episodes of the Tailgate Party left. And then in addition to that, I got probably another couple episodes of Bayou Sports Talk. But everything I didn't touch on this, episode of the Tailgate Party. I'm going to talk about Thursday. Myself, my brother Jared Lovin Green, the ladies installment of HBCU Fanatics. We're going to recap the SWAC championship game. In addition to that, we're going to preview the Celebration Bowl. We're going to talk about the players that have hit the transfer portal. We're going to talk about the coaching situation with FAMU letting go James Cozy. But this is the end of episode 17, season 1 of the Tailgate Party. I think I'm like a few subscribers away from that magical, majestic 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you're not done so already, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. And let me say that one more time. If you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel. This was the latest edition of the Tailgate Party. So hopefully you enjoyed season 1, episode 17 of the Tailgate Party. I appreciate everybody that came through and that showed love. Let me just give a real quick shout out to everybody before I wrap things up. Salute to Motivation to Be a Millionaire. Salute to Relax and Calm Rain, Desmond Allen, Teldrum Leathers, your boy Jay, Derek Banks, my brother Jared Lovin Green, Kendrick Wicker, Blackwater Bayou, my brother Jay Good, my brother Trill Will, my brother Jared Lovin Green again. So I appreciate everybody that came through, that showed some love. Also, go check out my brother on his channel, Brent Fox, with his show It's Just Me starring Brent Fox. We definitely gonna get the Southern Baller Show Facebook group going. Also, go check out my brother Cadillac Red, Supreme Beast Boxing Talk on his channel. Go check him out. Also, go check out my beloved sister, the beloved Queen Shawala Yah, on her channel, Yes Indeed Boxing. And go check out my brother 7A Sports TV on his channel. He has 2 channels. 7A Sports TV, his backup channel, is the No 304 Show. And definitely want to give a major shout out to my brother, formerly known as Soul Power, aka Gamed Up Kennels. My brother Brown with Soul. Go check him out on his channel, especially with this current economic environment. You might want to learn how to plant a garden. Man, he got the whole 411 on his channel. And not only that, my brother Brown with Soul, we're going to have a grill challenge at some point. We inviting all the LDBC brothers that like to throw something on the grill. We going to invite all of y'all to the challenge like my brother 7A Sports TV, my brother Joseph Townsend, Big Joe Townsend, always stand on LDBC business. We're going to invite all of y'all to the challenge, to that grilling challenge, you know what I'm saying? And for all y'all individuals that like to partake in a drink of whiskey or drink of bourbon, go check out Old Hillside Bourbon Company. My brother Joe Townsend is part owner of that. And we trying to get Old Hillside Bourbon Company on the same level as Uncle Near's. So during this holiday season, get your bottle of Old Hillside. But I appreciate everybody that came through, that showed some love. Remember, again, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And this is episode 17 of the Tailgate Party. But stay tuned. I got a lot more clips from the season that's going to drop. I also got clips from the 52nd annual 2025 Bayou Classic that I still got to drop. And I'm going to talk about a variety of different topics. I got some other stuff coming up. I got a couple more videos that I'm going to drop. Also, coming up, we got the latest installment of HBCU Fanatics. And also on Saturday, we got the latest edition of Bayou Sports Talk. Y'all better enjoy Bayou Sports Talk while y'all could, because in a few episodes, it's going to be a wrap for that too. But I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. Peace and blessings to the family. And go Jags, you dig?